Fed Talk at the PILG. This is Fed Talk at the PILG, a friendly conversation on anything and everything federalism, with our host, Attorney Gwendolyn Pimentel Gana. This podcast is brought to you by Pimentel Institute for Leadership and Governance and Hans Seidel Foundation, Philippines.
Okay, good day, friends. Welcome to today's episode of the PILG podcast, Pimentel Institute for Leadership and Governance, where we explore the pressing issues of governance in the nation. And I am your host for today, substituting for our President, Attorney Commissioner Gwen Gana. My name is Jay De Jaresco of the PILG. Our discussion today is very interesting. We will be talking about the Bangsa Moro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, one of the vital regional governments established by the 1987 Constitution. And we need to discuss this to familiarize ourselves as to the latest developments in the regional government in the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. And we have invited a special guest. He is one of the leading figures of the Bangsa Moro Autonomous Region. He is Attorney Jose Iribani Lorena. And he's just been elected Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of the Bangsa Moro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, or the BARM. Attorney Jose Iribani Lorena, or tatawagin natin Attorney Joe, kasi kilala naman natin si Attorney Joe. Aside from being a leading figure in the regional government in Muslim Mindanao, he is also a consultant in the national government. He has been consulted by the Philippine Senate, the House of Representatives. He has been presidential advisor for the peace process. And he has wide experience not only in the Philippines with respect to regional governments, but autonomous governments, even abroad. He is being invited there as a convener, a discussant, and being consulted there. As a matter of fact, Attorney Joe told me a while ago that he is going to Europe after this interview for various discussions on regional governments and autonomous governments abroad. So good morning, Attorney and Deputy Speaker Joe Iribani. How are you?
Fine. Good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning to you, Jay, and to Ray, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh to all our friends who will be listening to this podcast.
Attorney Joe, maganda na ikaw yung naimbita dito sa amin because we know that you have been deep into the formation of the regional governments. Matagal na po ang experience niyo dito. And we witnessed how you were being made a consultant by various legislators on various issues involving the regional government. Siguro, Attorney Joe, just by way of background and review for the benefit of our listeners who may need to review, ano po ba itong regional government with respect, paano po ba na-establish ito, and what is the source of authority nitong regional government, at bakit merong regional government sa ating governance?
Thank you, Jay. And I'd like to start by saying that regional government is not just a product of our constitution and law, but it goes beyond. Let me start by saying that the predicate of this regional government is, of course, the various agreements with the Moro France. We should remember that the height of in the 1970s until the 80s, going into our 1987 Constitution, there were series of negotiations done between the government and the Moro National Liberation Front on one side, and of course, the government of the Philippines in the Cordillera People's Liberation Front, the PLA. So in these agreements, there were demands for autonomy and regional autonomy. In particular, with respect to the MNLF, the MNLF was not the original objective of the MNLF was for independence. However, when the government of the Republic of the Philippines sought the help of the Organization of Islamic Conference, the Organization of Islamic Foreign Ministers Conference in uh, Kuala Lumpur, July 18, signed or issued a statement calling for cessation of hostilities and at the same time to find a lasting solution to the problem of Southern Philippines. It was this resolution number 18 of the OIC which precipitated the meeting between the MNLF and the government of the Philippines in Tripoli, Libya, resulting in the signing of the December 23, 1976 Tripoli Agreement, which called on both parties to find lasting solution, and that solution was regional autonomy
Ah,
within the framework of national sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of the Philippines. That's as far as the MNLF, but with other groups also demanded for autonomy.
oh,
So in 1987, when when there was a disagreement between the government of the Philippines and the MNLF and OIC during the implementation of the Tripoli Agreement, the agreement was not implemented, but Cory, because in the course of the during martial law, the leading personality of the opposition was Benigno Aquino. He was invited to Saudi Arabia. When he spoke there, he said meaningful autonomy could be achieved within the region. And so when Cory Aquino assumed the presidency, he immediately went to Sulu and discussed the issue of continuing the negotiation with the MNLF. But unfortunately, I will not put the details anymore, but it is now a known fact that negotiation did not succeed. I remember that even our Tatay Nene was also involved in the negotiation before the subsequent negotiation came about. That is the Jeddah Accord. And so in 1987, because of the failure to reach an agreement, but understanding the problem in the South, Cory Aquino organized the Constitutional Commission, to draft the 1987 Constitution. As you know, the discussion of the MNLF in the government started during the Freedom Constitution, but it did not materialize. So when the Constitutional Commission was organized, the idea of regional autonomy was already on the air. Hence, the delegates from Mindanao and even from the Visayas supported the framing up of a provision within the 1987 Constitution, which is now Article 10, Section 15 to 21 of the Philippine 1987 Constitution. That becomes the basis of the autonomy, because subsequent to that, Tatay Nene initiated the drafting of an organic law, which became Republic Act 6734, which initiated the organization of the first legislated autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. So the constitutional basis outside from the agreement, which to some are executive agreements with an international complexity, the basis of our autonomy now is Republic Act, is Section 15 to Section 21 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution.
what Attorney Joe is saying, na even before the 1987 Constitution, the quest for self-recognition of our brothers in Mindanao, matagal na po yan pinag-uusapan at there were various agreements. But It was only in the 1987 Constitution na medyo nalagay sa isang provision or sa several provisions recognizing a regional government. So this is within the framework of the Constitution. Yan po ba ang pagkakaintindi natin, Attorney Joe?
Yes, because it was in Section 15 which says that of the 1987 Constitution which says that autonomous regions in Muslim Mindanao and Cordillera will be established. So, but even before the constitutional provision, there was already an autonomous region before, pursuant to Presidential Decree 1618 issued by President Marcos then, organizing the regional autonomy for Regions 9 and Region 12.
Ang regional government, in relation kasi itong may mga discussion din to federalism. So therefore, gusto nating malaman din kung ano ang relation meron bang relasyon ang regional government in the quest for federal government, o ito by part ng objective.
Yes, because remember that there was also an organization of a movement for federalism in the South. I was an original member of the PDP Laban, of course headed by our tatay at that time, even before the organization of the 1989 autonomous region. There was a movement for federalism. We were already members of organized group, Likod Federal. We have the PDP Laban, and Ruben Canoe, even at that time, espoused. There is also a Mindanao independence movement who aspired to have an independence, but the truth of the matter is the object was to have a federal system.
Itong 1987 Constitution, Attorney Joe, na-notice natin na it was generally patterned after the Constitution of the United States, which was a federal government. However, ang in-establish ng gobyerno ay parang unitary government but recognizing local autonomy, not only in the provinces and cities but specifically regional governments. Yun yata ang naging framework ng ating Constitution.
Diba? Yes, sa totoo lang, if you look into if you dissect the Constitution, the original idea was to set up a federal. But in the last period of the finalization of the Constitution, biglang nag-shift to unitary but with a picture of a regional government. Ganon ang nakikita ko dati sa Constitution.
Marami siguro ang gustong malaman, Tito Joe, ano ang relation, ano ang kaibahan o similarities ng isang regional government na yung nire-recognize ng ating Constitution at isang federal system na hindi naman ginawa ng ating Constitution. Parang
Yeah, kasi I'm also a federalist. Sa federalism kasi parang meron kang two units of sovereignty. A sovereignty of the federal state and the sovereignty of the states within the federal state. But in the autonomous region, you cannot delineate the powers or subject the power of the central government to a delineation because that tantamounts to having two sovereignty. So the picture of a regional government from a federal is different because regional government has a limited power based only on the powers to be granted by the national government. But in a federal state, you can set up a delineation of what could be exercised as a power by the sub-state from the federal state. Kasi ganun yan eh. Kaya nga, if you look at Article 10, there is a provision that the regional legislation that can be passed by the regional, even now regional parliament, subject to the Constitution and national laws. But that could not be done in a federal state.
For example, Attorney Joe, for example, under the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, meron isang parliament, di po ba? So,
yes.
ano ang relation diyan, for example, sa Congress natin? Ano ba ang pagkakaiba diyon? Ano ang situation ng Barm Parliament na ikaw ay Deputy Speaker?
Yeah, let me give you a framework dyan. Kasi nung nagkakaroon na tayo drafting of the Bangsamoro Basic Law leading to the Bangsamoro Organic Law, I was part of the Bangsamoro Transition Commission. Noong pagkagawa namin, because of understanding in the negotiation that there will be flexibility in the implementation of the constitutional provision on autonomy para mabigyan ng meaningful autonomy, gumawa kami ng delineation of powers. Yung tinatawag namin yung exclusive power for the autonomous region. There are concurrent powers between the autonomous region and the national government, and there are reserved power for the national government. This is actually a picture of federalism. Pero inobjectan yun because we are foreclosed by the Constitution. At hindi pwede daw ilimit ang power ng national government by any provision of law kasi nakalagay the autonomous region will still be subject to national laws. Yun ang nagiging not like in the federal. For example, yun ang unang naging kapala. Ngayon, kung magpasa kami ng yung nagpasa kami ng redistricting law, I think this is the most current one. We pass a redistricting law for our elections in the autonomous region. Then the Supreme Court said this is contrary to the Constitution. This is unconstitutional kasi yung districting namin did not conform to the provision of the law of national law which says that there should be no gerrymandering. But even without looking into the picture of geographic areas provided for in the Constitution. At saka so makikita mo, the regional government is still limited by the provision of the Constitution, the organic law, and the national laws. But in a federal system, hindi yung mga ganon. Kasi if you have already an exclusive power, then the federal government cannot, even by the instrument of the Constitution, sabihin, hindi pwede ito kasi delineated ang powers eh. So mayroon kang tinatawag na constitutional law, Supreme Court, that will define only whether the law was already a law of the regional federal sub-state, and therefore the federal state has no business to say that it could not be done by the federal sub-state. But in a regional autonomy, all would be looked into whether it complies to the Constitution or it is limited by the national law. So yan ang pagkaiba. So ngayon, marami na kaming ginawa. For example, yung question of Sulu. May decision of Supreme Court on Sulu eh. Kasi Sulu has always been part of the autonomous region. Pero, in fact, during the plebiscite of 11054, kasama ang Sulu. And the COMELEC proclaimed that because the voting is the totality of the region, Sulu is part of that region and they are voting as one. But the latest decision of the Supreme Court points to the fact that if the province of Sulu did not vote for the ball, necessarily it should be excluded. So yan ang naging limitation naman. So in reality, autonomous region, although it's already a sub-regional government, is still limited by national law and the Constitution.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, ang ating panauhin ngayon is the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. At ang ating pinag-usapan ngayon ay itong structure ng BARM, no? The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, dahil ito ay nakasaad sa ating Constitution. At ang tanong natin ngayon is ang relation ng isang regional government and towards as against federal government. And whether we'd like to answer whether or not a regional form of government can signal later on the establishment of a federal system. Now, tanong natin, ano nga yung mga provinces member ng regional government, Attorney Joe?
Originally, after the plebiscite of January 2021, there were Sulu, Pasilan, Tawi-Tawi, Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and the barangays of North Cotabato who who voted yes in the plebiscite. It is now called the SGA, or the Special Geographic Area, and the cities of Parawi, Cotabato, Damitan City. These are the geographical territorial coverage of the autonomous region of the BARM now.
Ang thrust ng ating constitution is really to give local autonomy, and maganda itong meron talagang regional government. Can we say, Attorney Joe, that a regional government, well, in the Philippines or even in Europe, is it a model towards leading to a federalism? Tama ba po yan sabihin, Attorney Joe?
Actually, tama yun. Kasi remember when we passed the Public Act 6734, despite the presence of Article 10, Section 15 to 21, the principal author there, former Speaker, Senate President Senator Aquilino Pimentel Jr., did give semblance of a power to the regional government. For example, if you will note into Article 4 of that organic law, the power to decide, to look in the power to schedule elections, regional and local, was given to the regional autonomous region under 6734. Pero ngayon, nagiging naalis yun. Nonetheless, sa picture namin ngayon, mayroon din kami tinatawag na yung black grant. This is the economic fiscal viability of a regional government. Itong black grant is already automatically appropriated and released to us without us submitting any budget proposal to the National Congress, because the budgeting and approval of the appropriation is done in the parliament already. So it is a picture of a federal system. Secondly, there is also Section 2 of our power outside from the 56 powers delegated to us by Congress. There is the power on general welfare. So if we can still pass legislation that would amount to the general welfare of the region, despite the non-presence of that power within the 56 identified powers of the autonomous region as granted by Congress. So yun ang magandang picture noon. Secondly, there is the principle of subsidiarity, which is now common in federal system, is now available to us. What does subsidiarity means? That the government which has direct jurisdiction to the problem should have the first take on the issue. Ibig sabihin kami nito, hindi lang nasami sa na lalagay sa Republic Act 11054 yung parity of steam. But isa yun sa mga picture sa federal. But in a limited way, parity of steam is recognized now by the national government, because there is a mechanism for resolving issues between the national government and we call it the Intergovernmental Relations Body, IGRB. So that if there are issues that is identified by Congress and the regional government, the same should be decided by that body and not through judicial process. Kasi yun,
sa aming pagkaintindi, the way we hear you, Attorney Joe, is that while a regional government is structurally different from a federal government, pero merong mga aspects or functions na medyo nag-overlap, parang ganun, na which are being adopted. Ganun ba yun, Joe? Are we hearing you right?
Yes. Actually, yung principle of subsidiarity allows us for general welfare purposes to pass legislation. Even yung national government, parang sabi nila nasa kanila pa yun. But it can be discussed in the IGRB. For example, even in the power of taxation, meron na kaming 5 powers, 4 taxing powers, which were given already exclusively to be done by the regional government. So, yun, picture yun ng federalism. In fact, itong Republic Act 11054, nung nagsimula, yung Bangsamoro Basic Law, it is really a federal constitution for the BARM. However, kasi yung limitation ng constitutional provision under Article 10 foreclose us for passing all the tenets of the basic law. Kaya na-reduce yun doon sa BOL, Organic Law for the Bangsamoro in the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Kasi yun nga yung delineation of powers, inalis yun.
Oo.
Inalis talaga yung delineation of powers. Talagang yun ang federal. Ang idea namin doon, kasi during the agreement yung with the government, there was an agreement that we will implement the basic law, and if there are provisions that will not be allowed by the Constitution of 1987, then we were given opportunity to submit provisions for the amendment of the Constitution. Kaya yung BTC namin noon submitted, I think, 10 constitutional provisions. If you recall, Jay, yung executive order creating the BTC is 1 day ahead of the creation of the Constitutional Commission. Yung sinatatay nini kasama. That was supposed to be the idea. Para yung hindi na masabak sa under Article 10, under Article 10 of the Philippine Constitution, dahil parang picture of federal na talaga yun, i-abend na yung Constitution. Unfortunately, in the run to the drafting of the amendments of the Constitution, hindi yun binigyan ng pansin ng Congress of the Philippines. Yung Bayanihan Constitution submitted by the Puno Constitutional Commission, nakasama si Tatay Nene doon. So talaga, inalis pa nila yun. The picture of federalism is now built in our Republic Act 11054 or the Organic Law for the Bangsamoro in the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao.
So can we say, Attorney Joe, na pwedeng maging model ang isang regional government like the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region for Muslim Mindanao, pwedeng maging model ito sa isang future na pag-aralan na federal system? Pwede bang ganun? Is that accurate?
That's accurate, because the idea of that regional autonomy we have now, although naalis yung some feature of federalism, ay federal. So it can be the model. For example, yung black grants, yung sharing of resources, maano mo na doon. Each region can have its own black grant para hindi naman dominated dito lang ang budgeting sa isang region. Especially now, makikita mo with the problem that we are facing, itong mga investigation na sa Congress. Alam mo, kung federal, kaya kami na parang hindi na dapat masyado dyan kasi siyempre kami na nag-identify ng budget namin. At hindi mo naman nilalagay doon sa mga insertions, mga ganun yan.
Ang problema ngayon, Attorney Joe, is that sobrang centralized ang ng pondo na nandoon yung, kung may corruption, nandoon sa national. Whereas kung pwede sanang ma-localize, at least ma-monitor ng tao easily kasi nasa ang power nasa regional government na, for instance. Pero hindi po kaya na sabi naman ng iba, di kaya ma-localize din yung corruption. Ano ang masasabi mo yun, Attorney Joe?
Yun ang, alam mo, maganda yung sinabi natin. Talaga pag ang budgeting ay nasa region, localize yung accountability. Kasi makikita directly ng tao. But if it is true, is national, total organization, hindi makita eh. Pero doon, accountability, mas dalawa. Accountability to the people, accountability to the federal government, accountability to the regional government. Kasi meron mechanism of tinatawag na yung internal audit mechanism. Double mechanism, gayon sabi niya. We have our internal audit mechanism. We have the oversight of the parliament over funds appropriated by the parliament, but it can still be subjected to an account audit by the Commission on Audit. So, malaki yung accountability doon. Dahil accountability to the people, accountability to the regional government, accountability to national government. So, mahirap yung sinasabi na localized corruption. Kasi tatlo na maging mechanism eh. Itong national, pag hindi mo nakita doon sa, wala na eh, naka-insert na gano'n, makita natin eh. So we are
Yeah.
happy nga that we are shielded from, although we are not saying that there are no corruption there, we are still looking into, kasi activated na namin ang yung petition committee. The people, kung makita nila, pwede sila magsulat sa petitions committee. And the parliament can immediately activate the Blue Ribbon Committee. So talagang automatic yun.
Mas
Pangalawa,
madali yung accountability.
madali yung accountability kasi malapit eh.
Yeah.
Kita. And the people in the parliament are known to the community kasi taga doon tayo eh. Mahiya ka naman kagad sa karon. Sabi niyo yung daan doon sa tabi namin, wala pa. You are directly involved because the members of the parliament comes from every district of its province. So mamonitor nila yon. At dito sa atin, with all due respect, sa Mindanao, ilan lang ang ating congressman diyan. Kaya nagwawala na si Manong Ropos eh. Na wala daw budget sheet sa agriculture doon sa atin. So, how many of the Congress are there? Ilan lang tayo diyan eh. Saka malayo ang budgeting. Walang sa budgeting namin, meron pang meron yung people's organization, NGO, din meron kapag tao na pumupunta directly doon sa parliament. Yung program namin, Visit the Parliament. So, gano'n na ang importante ng federalism kasi principle of subsidiarity at saka asymmetrical ang relation at saka there is the principle of parity of state.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a podcast of the Aquilino Q. Pimentel Jr. Institute for Leadership and Governance, PILG podcast. At ang topic nating pinag-usapan for those who just tuned in is about the regional government in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. At ang ating panauhin ngayon ay ang Deputy Speaker ng Parliament ng BARM, and he is explaining to us the functions of the BARM and its significance and its relation towards a federal government. At marami tayong natutunan ngayon na marami palang aspeto ng regional government na ina-apply na yung concepts ng federalism. So, Attorney Joe, welcome ba itong federalism sa isang regional government? Is it something welcome or parang nagdududa ang tao?
Alam mo, although pag kami regional government, syempre ngayon kami lang ang may black rat, di ba?
Yeah.
Yung ibang region, wala.
Yeah.
So, pagkasabihin kung talagang selfish ang mga federal, yung mga regional government, sabihin kami na lang. Bahala na kayo magagawa ng iba. But, in the best interest of the country, pag na-federal yan, yung tinatawag natin simultaneous development. Kasi wala na yung pabor-pabor eh. Kasi ikaw na sarili leader by region. For example, ngayon, sabi ni Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, bakit lahat na lang dito sa Luzon, wala sa amin? So, dahil ang budget will emanate only from National Congress. Ilan lang ang representation. But if you have allocated already by region, yung pera na yun, then medyo kayo na lang ang mag-budget doon. Kami ngayon, our black grant is increasing, kasi ang nakalagay kasi, the black grant of the autonomous region, Muslim Mindanao, comes from yung collection of BIR taxes and customs collections.
Ang tawag yun, Manong Joe? Black grant? Black grant?
Black grant. Ang black grant namin is 5% from net collection, national collection of BIR, and 5% from net 5% from collection of stock. Sa ngayon, umabot yata 104 billion. Originally, 60 billion, but they more mag-increase yung collection, tataas din yung black grant, no? Kaya, kami ngayon, I already passed I am also the chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means.
Opo.
Pinasa ko na yung revenue code para makatulong din kami. So magiging, because you have a share from the national revenue, siyempre dapat magulekta ka rin para tuloy-tuloy tataas lahat ang collection ng national revenue para malaki rin ang pagkatiyan. So it becomes a motivation for some federal state to collect para tataas yun. Yun ang
Yeah.
kagandahan yan. Kasi kung tumataas ang koleksyon, tumaas ang share mo. At meron tayo sa federal system yung big brother, small brother concept. Yung mga malalaking koleksyon na hindi pa maka-adjust yung iba, tutulungan ng mga kuwan. Ngayon, to be honest, ilan-ilan lang ang qualified fiscally, alos fiscally to become a federal state. Yung Metro Manila, kasi nandito lahat ang big taxpayers, at saka Calabarzon area, Metro Manila, ganun lang. And perhaps other cities, but not all. Kasi kaya yun ang kailangan yung regional government. If I may to say, maganda itong experiment of regional government in order to have a model really for a federal system.
Yeah. Ano ba by way of wrapping up, ano ang feeling mo sa regional government? You are optimistic that the objectives would be attained, no? Of self-governance, recognition of the cultures and beliefs of our people there would be attained. Ganun ba po yan, Attorney Joe?
Yes, I am optimistic that we can achieve that because in the very law itself, there is a constitution which says that our governance should focus on our culture, and what is good, the BARM, which is composed of 3 people, the tribal people, the settler community, the Mangsamoro, can work together as one. We sometimes call it harmony and diversity. We may not become united, but in practices and all this, but we can be harmonious in our relationship in the autonomous region. And we are hopeful we are succeeding block by block in achieving that. So again, I believe that given the chance, the autonomous government can bring in not only unity, but will bring in development to that part of that country, the region, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region.
With that note, we'd like to thank Attorney and Deputy Speaker Jose Iribani Lorena, the Deputy Speaker of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, for his very rich insights. The BARM experience, indeed gives Filipinos a living example of how autonomy and unity, as Attorney Joe has said, can work together. So whether or not it becomes a seed or model for federalism, it certainly, the discussion today broadens our imagination about governance and nation building. So thank you very much again, Attorney Joe, and until the next interview.
Thank you, Jay, and I hope we will have more of this kind of interaction with the other people so that they will understand what federalism is, what autonomy is. And we thank the Pimentel Leadership Institute for bringing this into the fore. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Jay. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ren.
Good governance does not depend on the governors alone, but also on the government.